Hello, everyone. This is Waking Up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. And it is Tuesday morning, almost the end of April. It's the day before the last day of April. And you know, we always talk about April showers, but I don't think it's going to rain for the rest of the month. So today and tomorrow. But then once we move into May, got some rain chances we're going to talk about. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's a look at the Biloxi Cam by the Vorovage, and I just want to teleport there right now. I mean, look at that view. Right by the beach, you've got the, I think high tide is coming in, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check our tide times. We've got, let's take a look at them. Yep, I was right. High tide is coming in from now through the middle of the day. Then we'll see the tide waters receding this afternoon and this evening. So, yeah, just really nice looking stuff there. When you get that high tide, you just get the water right next to where you are sitting on the sand. And I actually see someone out there walking along the shoreline. Are they fishing? Are they picking up some trash? You're always so curious. You never know what you can find on some of these tower cams. I'm sure it's easy to find just people enjoying the conditions outside right now, though. It's a pretty nice morning. We've got a lot of sunshine. And, of course, the warmth is there, but it's not overly excessive just yet like it will be this afternoon. Yeah, I do indeed think we've got somebody out in the beachfront area at the water. We're zooming in. I guess we got a couple of folks. And yeah, I was right. They are getting something. Are they crabbing? This is so interesting. I'm so nosy. They've got a net. Maybe they are catching some crabs, or they are picking up some trash. One of the two. It's hard to tell. We can't zoom in any more than that. But it is pretty incredible that we can see this far from the roof of the Vorovage. Yeah, that's definitely looking more like a crabbing net to me. So clearly you can all tell who has the shortest attention span in the room. It is me. And now we'll get back on track and get to what we are here for, to talk about the weather. So we were talking about earlier that it is sunny outside, and we got to talk about the UV index because it's pretty high. In fact, it's at the highest it's going to be ever. It's in the extreme category. So what does that mean? It means that there's actually extreme risk of harm from unprotected sun exposure. And some of you could get sunburn in just minutes. So it doesn't take very long to get a sunburn, and this would be one of those days that happens. Unless you're being protected, you know, doing smart stuff, common sense stuff, like wearing sunscreen, like remembering to bring your sunglasses. My eyeglasses actually transition into sunglasses, so I'm always wearing my sunglasses technically. But yeah, you got to remember to protect your eyes, protect your skin from those harsh UV rays on a day like today. Some recommend SPF 30 or higher sunscreen, and also recommend to reapply every 2 hours, since you might be sweating, or if you're swimming, you know, it will wear off eventually with these types of conditions. The UV index is going to probably remain extreme for pretty much any day now through the rest of the summer. The only exceptions will be when we have enough clouds to take the sun down just a little bit. But there's plenty of sun out there today. Now, by the time we get to the day after tomorrow, maybe there will be enough clouds to maybe take our UV index down from extreme to perhaps just very high. Look, the day after tomorrow, this Thursday, and you are seeing rain showing up. It will be the first day of May, and that's when we finally get some of the April showers to straggle in. They've been kind of, you know, missing for many of us for the last week, and now they'll finally be back in the game. So in order to get to the rain chances, we're going to have to get through a couple of dry days here today and tomorrow. And then we start the rain chances Thursday, and they might not stop for several days in a row. It's because we are tracking a front that's going to be moving into the area. So here's a look at that front as we track it, and we'll take that full screen for you. The front's position on Thursday will be about here on the map, located near Oklahoma and Arkansas. And look at that, you already have the modeling showing some rain near some of us on Thursday. As you can see, there is this area of rain sitting very close to South Mississippi on Thursday. It could either be some pop-up storms, or it can be kind of a complex of storms that's moving throughout the region. And we're going to see kind of rounds and rounds of this stuff. That was one on Thursday. Here comes another round of rain, looks like on Friday. So you can again see that there are going to be some rain showers ahead of that front across the area. So that's 2 days now. We showed you Thursday some rain, Friday some rain. What about Saturday? Some rain then? And looks like, yeah, there's going to be that chance, again, right there at times on Saturday of seeing some of these rain showers. Now, even though there are at least 3 days of rain chances, the plus side is once we get to Sunday, this front will be located south of us based on all current indications. And so if we can get that front to actually push south of our coastline, that will allow us to tap into some drier air coming in from the north around a high pressure ridge. And with that drier air in place, that could actually help us to see a little change in our weather pattern. I know that we've been getting used to all of this humidity, we've been getting used to all of this warmth, but if we can actually tap into some drier air, that will help us to drop some of that humidity. So that will be key, watching how far south this front sags or sinks to our south. If the front stalls along our coast, we're never going to tap into that dry air. But if we can actually get the front to move south of our coastline, then we can be able to tap into the drier, lower humidity air, and that would be a change. So we can take a look at that trend for dew points. Right now, our models are indicating that this is a thing that will actually happen, or at least is possible. So there you can see how we stay on the muggy side of things this week. Today into tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, all pretty muggy. But then that front moves into our state on Saturday, into South Mississippi on Saturday. And it may pass through the area on Saturday night. And so once we get to Sunday, we would wake up to, drier feeling air. Might even be downright pleasant and crisp. And that would continue into next Monday. As far as our morning temperatures, this will have an impact. If we can get the air to dry out, it will have an impact on our morning temperatures. For many of you, these mornings have been rather warm or mild, with many temperatures around 70 in places like Gulfport, Biloxi. But if we can get to that drier air once we get to the weekend, that will take our morning temperatures down to the lower 60s, which would be about a 10-degree drop compared to what we've been getting for the last few days. So that's a pretty noticeably cooler morning, conditional on if that front arrives. Then we can begin our noticeably cooler mornings Sunday morning and continue it into next week. Now, these numbers are for the coast. There are going to be places that are inland that might be even cooler. You might actually get some upper 50s for places like Wiggins, Socher, and Van Cleve on Sunday morning and on Monday morning. So keep that in mind too. Will this affect our afternoons? Not really. We're already in the mid 80s and upper 80s right now. And once we get to Sunday and Monday, maybe just lower 80s. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be that noticeable of a drop for the temperature for our daytime highs. But because we are going to be dropping the humidity, it will be a noticeable drop during the day for the heat index. Right now, for example, today, Tuesday, we've got 84 for a high temperature, but the heat index probably is going to be around 89, maybe 90. But come Sunday, we will have 82 for a high temperature, and the heat index might only be 83 or 84 because there's not as much humidity to make that heat index much higher than the temperature. So, what do you think? Is this front actually going to move into the area? Right now, I can't guarantee it. Look, just look at the calendar. We're moving from April into May. Cool fronts become less of a guarantee as we get closer to summer. Sometimes they come close, but they don't actually pass, and they just stall nearby. Right now, this one looks like it will pass. Hopefully, the information stays the same and doesn't change as we continue to check it and update it each day. If it doesn't change, then at least we can finally get a little shift in our pattern for a little while. Look, we know the long days of warmth and humidity are right ahead of us in the summer. So it's always nice when you can kind of get a little break in it before you start the official summer season in June. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. I hope that you have a terrific Tuesday, and we'll see you again next time.